Welcome to episode 168 of the Forward from 50 podcast, where we interview people over 50 who are pursuing new direction for their lives. It's an opportunity for men and women to tell their stories their way and in their own words. I'm Greg Gerber, the founder of Forward from 50 and your host for today's show. Today's guest is Jim Boad, and his story is a reminder that it's never too late to shift from success to significance. Jim spent more than 25 years in real estate investing and building a profitable business. But after turning 50 and going through the disruptions of COVID, he realized something was missing in his life. That led him to create and scale sober living homes that are built for people who are trying to rebuild their lives after addiction. In this episode, we talk how he made that pivot and what he's learned along the way. Here are a few things he'll take away from our conversation. First, how a long-desired desire to give back finally became Jim's full-time mission after he turned 50, and why he wishes he had started much sooner. Second, the powerful role sober living homes plays in helping people stay clean after treatment, and why the need for this kind of support in communities of all sizes is greater than ever. Third, how Jim turned this into a scalable model that not only creates income, but also changes lives in a meaningful way. Finally, why purpose-driven work can become the most fulfilling chapter of your life, even if it looks very different from what you built before. To tell us more about what gives his life more meaning and purpose today, please welcome Jim Boad to the show. Thanks for joining me today, Jim. I really appreciate it. How'd you come up with the idea of this group home accelerator project?
Oh, goodness. It was a culmination over about 25 years, but it really got narrowed down and happened during COVID. So I've been in a real estate investor for about 25 years now, and I've always wanted to give back and help and do more philanthropical things. And it's always just been next year after I finish this project, once I hit this milestone, and I just kicked it down the road for almost 20 years. And then when COVID hit, it changed my whole residential rental business because people literally were able to stop paying rent and not have any recourse. And I wasn't able to remove them from the home, no matter why they weren't paying rent. The courts weren't even taking cases to put people out of the houses. So it absolutely handcuffed me and indentured me. One night I was just doom scrolling through the internet and I saw something about group homes. And to me, I thought it was talking more about elderly care. Teenagers. Yeah. We lived down the road from one where people with some mental disabilities lived and had supervision. And then one of the things in there was sober living. I checked it out. I got into it, bought the little program, watched all the videos, and then just started taking action from there on opening up sober living homes.
Okay. So what is a sober living home?
Sober living homes are definitely this weird thing that I think a lot of people don't fully understand. A lot of people think it's like an inpatient drug clinic where people go to get off of drugs. But it's actually the step after that. It's where people come after they've gotten clean. You don't get clean in sober living, you stay clean in sober living. So that's one of the big differences. And then a lot of people have this misinterpretation and call them flop houses and boarding houses, but they're neither of those if they're a properly run sober living home.
Okay. So, had you gone through a program like that on your own?
I actually grew up around really heavy drug addict and alcoholic parents. So I saw all the things I didn't want to do, but I felt what it did to a family and to people being on the inside of it. So I do have a pretty big passion for that. And really, before I even understood what sober living was, I actually helped one of my nephews move up here from the Metro Phoenix area. And he lived with me in one of my places. And we treated it like a sober living home, but I didn't really even know I was doing it at the time.
Are there special rules attached to homes like that?
We have a lot of rules for the people that live there. The kind of cool thing is in most places in the country, there aren't a lot of rules around opening these because they're an unlicensed facility. When they're not even a facility, they're run as a regular residential rental.
Okay. And so are you building these specifically for people that are in programs, or are you just building them on what do they call speculation and then filling people in as needed?
When I first started, as I was able to start getting people out of my rental homes, and I had some that I was getting ready to launch because I'm constantly renovating or building new ones. So that allowed me to start getting people in it right away. Now I build bigger homes. So I'm doing 4 and 5 bedroom homes. and I've got a couple of 10-bedroom homes that I'm building as well. But I build them as residential homes because the ultimate exit strategy one day will be to sell them as a regular home.
Okay, very good. And you've got 14 homes open in the past couple of years and 8 more on the way?
I've got 4 more that are almost done, and then I've got 12 more that I'm just finishing up my subdivision, so then that way I can build them.
Are all of these done in the Seattle area, or are they scattered around the country?
Actually, I'm outside of Seattle, and yes, they're all done in my area. I actually live in a smaller town. There's only about 11,000 people in my town.
Okay. So all of your homes are in that?
They are.
Farm? Wow.
They are.
Okay.
The need is dramatic for these pretty much everywhere. I haven't found too many places that don't have a need for this.
So people who are going through recovery get clean and then come into one of your homes. Okay.
Correct.
Is there treatment available while they're in the homes, or is this just a place to stay while they're getting back to a normal life?
The home itself, we don't provide treatment, but everyone that comes into our home is in some level of treatment. And we do require them to follow some sort of path. They have to either be going to a certain amount of A or NA meetings every week, and they do have to still keep following the path.
Do you have enforcement aspects to that as well?
Absolutely, yes. I've built mine out to where we have a staff that actually comes in and checks on the homes. We'll do drug tests if need be. There are guidelines and rules. It's communal living, so people have to clean up after themselves. There's chores that need to be done. Yard maintenance needs to be done. And if not, there's different levels of enforcement, all the way up to removing them from the home, which one of the nice things about this is that we do have teeth to enforce those rules.
Okay. I had heard the idea of doing these bigger homes with lots of bedrooms for multi-generational families, because years ago, Grandpa and Grandma lived in the same home with the mom and dad and the kids for a long time. So this might be something that'll be catching on, but in a different area than what you're talking about.
I could see that. I definitely know that used to happen. I never really thought about it in that way, but it makes a lot of sense to be able to do that, especially now too. I'm seeing that younger people really don't have as much of a desire to get a driver's license anymore. They're not driven to get homes because I know a driver's license meant pure freedom to me when I was young, but.
Exactly. And kids today are like, maybe someday.
I didn't have this pocket communication device that connected me to the world that I could see all of my friends and live a whole different life through. I had a landline that I might be able to talk on for a few minutes if I was allowed, and then I had to go out and find people.
Right. Are you building these homes from scratch, or are you buying homes and converting them?
I'm mainly into building now.
Okay. What did you do for a living before you started this? You said a residential investor?
I've been a residential real estate investor for about 25 years.
Okay, and that's your full-time job? You would buy homes and resell them, fix them up and resell them? Okay.
I started off in Phoenix, and I bought one home, fixed it up, flipped it, did that a few times, then I was able to buy 2, and then 4, and then I was up to running between 10 and 12 at a time, and it was a lot of fun.
Do you have any plans to expand this concept to places outside of the Seattle area?
I already have, but not in the way you're probably thinking.
Okay.
What I started was my group home accelerator program, and I'm teaching people how to start and scale these homes now.
Okay. So you're teaching other entrepreneurs to go out there and start these. Do they have to go through training?
I have training that I run them through. There's only about 5 states where you have to have specifically a license to be able to do this. But in most of the other states, this is a very low barrier of entry business model. And it's one that really helps and changes lives. And it's one that we really need.
Okay. And who's paying for the people to stay in the home? Is it the people themselves or part of a program that they're involved?
Normally, for the majority of people, when they come out of treatment, there is some sort of rent assistance for them to go into these homes. And they'll get anywhere between 3 and 6 months. And if they're willing to work and go to the resources, I've had people that have stayed in my homes for almost 3 years that have had all of their rents paid while they're going through and staying in these homes. Because we don't have a time frame that you have to leave, because addiction is a lifelong battle. And
it is.
I've had people leave and then come back and said, I just can't do it. I'm falling right back into my old ways. I need this structure in my life.
I could not agree more. Absolutely. That would be very beneficial. So you're working or looking for people who are interested in investing in homes like these in their own communities. and then you will work with them to help them set this up?
Absolutely. And I basically have two people that I look for. I work with investors that want to be the one that buy and own the home, and operators that want to come in and do the home and actually run the home. And they tend to be very different people. There's some people that will buy the homes and run them themselves, but they're less common than the investor that wants to buy. So I like to be that conduit between the two of them as well, so I can help the investor structure it and set themselves up for success, and then teach the people how to actually operate these homes from start to finish.
Okay. Would people have to come spend some time with you in order to learn this system?
We actually do it all online. I've got a school group that we do it in. So I've just built a really awesome community of people that are like-minded, that are taking action, and that want to help people stay sober.
Super. Well, this helping people stay sober, is that something that you took on after you turned 50, or has it been something you've liked to do for a long time?
I took it on about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And like I was saying, it's something I've wanted to do for a long time. I just kept pushing it down the road. I'll get to it later.
Okay. Very good. So you're doing it now, and it's your full-time job. What was it about this part of the real estate investment that really intrigued you? And because it sounds like it's going beyond just buying property.
Absolutely. Ultimately, when I understood how much of an impact this makes, because so many people get out of a treatment facility and they just go home, and then they're right back around the same people that they were around. So they go right back to the same behaviors. And I really watched that with my nephew. He came up here and he was flourishing, and he went home. He was back on drugs the first week he was home.
Right.
And that's what really made me see it. Plus, there's a big miss in it because they're not everywhere. You might have 15 clinics that will get you clean in your neighborhood, but you might have 2 or 3 homes that you can't even get into because they're full in your neighborhood. So the balance is a bit off. So I'm trying to balance it out and show people how to run these properly, because these are a heavy cash flow business. So you can make really good income doing this, but if you run them poorly, you're not actually helping people. You're just taking a big paycheck and giving people a safe place to do drugs.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's it cost to develop one of these homes?
It's surprisingly cheap. I actually help people on the regular to rent these homes from other people, so you don't have to buy one. So the barrier of entry isn't home purchase. It could be just a rental. And then it takes anywhere, depends on your area and how big the home, but anywhere between $3,000 and $7,000 to get one set up, because we do have to furnish these homes. But you're not buying brand new high-end leather furniture. You're putting nice serviceable things in there. And then the way I run my homes, and I really recommend people, is we run 2 people per bedroom. So you're buying multiple beds, but you're not buying king and queen, luxe pillow top $5,000 mattresses. You're buying $100 mattresses for these homes. And so the barrier of entry is investment-wise very low, actually.
Okay.
So
what kind of impact has this had on you personally?
Personally, it's been the most fulfilling thing I've ever done. I can't express the pride that I get when somebody moves out of one of our homes because they're going to get a rental somewhere else, or they're moving back to where their family lives that they haven't seen for 20 plus years. I've never got this anywhere else in anything I've done. It was cool handing a couple the keys to their new house, but that they were already succeeding. It wasn't like I didn't help change their life. I gave them a place that was their first home. They're going to probably remodel anyway at some point.
That's right. So you're helping people get a fresh start, and that would be very motivating, I would imagine. Did it create any challenges for you?
Not too many. Like anything, the hardest part of this to me is whenever somebody does relapse and having to move somebody out of the home. That's never fun. And I have to do it because I owe it to the rest of my house. I have to protect everybody else.
That's right. Do the investors have to live in the house?
Oh, no, not at all. I actually teach people how to even do this from afar. So I've got people that live in Idaho that are opening homes in Ohio.
Very good. If you had to start over, is there anything you'd do differently?
I would have started doing this a long time ago.
Okay.
And it definitely would have been the only thing I focused on.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's cool. Give up real estate investment can be really high profitability. I would imagine this isn't quite as high to do that kind of thing, but it is regular monthly income if you are
2 to 4X's anything I've ever made off of my regular rentals. Because like I said, I do get paid per person per bed. So I'll have 2 in a bedroom. And like in my area, and it's different all over the country, I get up to $850 a bed. So I can make $1,700 a bedroom. And most of my homes are 4 and 5 bedroom now. Okay. So the math on that starts mathing pretty quick, but that doesn't compare to how much I actually get to do.
And is there common areas that they have to supply as well, like kitchens and bathroom? I'm sure bathrooms, but anything else that they've got to have?
Absolutely. Basically, we make these a turnkey property for people to move into. But we don't provide consumables. We still have to get them to get on their own 2 feet. So they have to buy toilet paper and dish soap and scrubby pads and laundry detergent and things like that. So we don't provide any consumables in the homes. We just make it a move-in ready place because we do get most people are coming to us from hitting their rock bottom.
Right.
So they're not moving in with 6 Louis Vuitton bags. We're not a luxury facility. I literally will have guys moving in with their garbage bag. So
do you have to take special care to make sure the right people are matched together in the rooms?
Yes, we definitely work at that. And we definitely have an interview process on the front end. We don't take everyone. We really we're not a flop house. So we are a place where you have to be serious about your recovery. And if you're not serious about your recovery, we're just not the place for you because you're not going to last long with us.
Okay.
Because we do monitor and we do talk with people and we've had to switch roommates and things, but that's a lot less common now. Just we've refined our process of intaking people and questioning and things like that.
And that's part of the training process that you would give to other people who wanted to invest in these kind of homes.
Absolutely. We teach them everything from start to finish and even how to scale.
You had mentioned that these are sustainable operations. In which way are they sustainable? Is there always a supply of people going to need to do that kind of recovery?
I don't know when there won't be. I would love to be put out of business because drugs were never used in this country again or the world, but that's just not a reality. We're hitting such an epidemic with drugs at this point. Homelessness is pretty much insane right now. Fentanyl has made hardcore drugs of the past, like heroin, look like marijuana. It's such a devastating drug, and it changes your brain. It changes the way you look and think, and it really takes time for people to come back from this. Mm-hmm. So I don't see it slowing down. I live in a town of 11,000 people. We've got over 50 beds that are full all the time. And we have a whiteboard across from me that I'm looking at that just has the list of people that are on a waiting list.
Wow.
So
that's incredible, to be honest. Are you focused more on people who are addicted to drugs or alcohol or both?
We tend to get more people on drugs, but it's not a focus specifically for us. Because mixing the two doesn't really make much of a difference. They're all kind of fighting the same demon. And
I understand what you're saying there. It sounds like a high stress kind of job, though, to deal with this kind of population. What do you do for fun, or how do you unwind?
My wife and I have worked together for 25 years. So we always get to do things hand in hand. We love to travel and just take time off and hang out. And we've got a dog that we love to walk and just play. It actually is one of the lowest stress jobs I've ever had, though.
Really?
Because when you run it right and you bring people in, no matter what you have, you're going to have problems. But I'm around people that want to be doing better and are 90+% appreciative that you're there to help them. So it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done. Definitely not the most stressful. New construction has definitely been the most stressful thing I've ever done. I had a long luxury hair until I started building homes. And
I understand. That makes sense, to be honest, that the people are out there that you're trying to help, they want the help. And so it's not like they're being forced into it by some government agency, et cetera. They say, I am done with this lifestyle and I want to recover. And that's very motivating for them. And I think helps put you in a good position to facilitate that.
Absolutely. It's much better than I started dipping my toes into the luxury market, and I absolutely hated it. People come in and wouldn't like because my quartz countertop was from a different country that they didn't like. I'm just like, are you kidding me? How do you even know this?
That's a good point. So we had completely different clientele, and this one is very appreciative of having that second chance. How can people connect with you if they'd like to learn more information?
I'm on pretty much all social medias, either Group Home Accelerator or just my name, Jim Boad. And jimboad.com is my website. And that kind of walks you through what I do and gives you the opportunity to either set up a quick 15-minute consultation with me where we can talk about what you want to do and if it's a good fit for you. Or you can just jump into my school group, Group Home Accelerator, and you can get a 7-day free trial and kind of check it out and see what it's all really about on the inside.
Okay. A seasoned citizen who might have some extra money to invest but wants to make a difference in the lives of other people, this would be a great opportunity for them to learn how to do it in their own communities.
Absolutely.
Super. And what kind of social media are you on? Actively on?
I'm pretty much anything social media that's out there.
Okay.
Yeah. Name it and I'm on it.
Okay. Super. Thank you again for your time today, Jim. It sounds inspiring that this is something that other people can get involved in and really, truly make a difference in the lives of others.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
What stands out most about Jim Boad's story is how he turned a successful career into something deeply meaningful after he turned 50. For years, he had a desire to give back, but like many of us, he kept pushing it off for someday. It wasn't until life disrupted his plans that he finally acted. And now, helping people to stay sober and rebuild their lives has become the most fulfilling work he has ever done. Jim found purpose not in just providing housing, but in creating structure, accountability, and hope for people who truly want a second chance. In doing so, he discovered that impact and income don't have to be mutually exclusive. His story is a great reminder that the second half of life can be about more than just building off a successful foundation. It can be about significance, contribution, and doing work that truly matters. If you'd like to learn more about what Jim is doing, you can find him online through his Group Home Accelerator program or visit his website at jimboad.com. People can also connect with Jim on YouTube, LinkedIn, and School. If you're someone who has been thinking about making a difference but keeps putting it off, Jim's story might just be the nudge you need to get started today. That's all for this week's show. If you'd like to start living a more meaningful life, I encourage you to download our free guide to finding purpose, which is available at www.forwardfrom50.com. I'll have another inspirational interview on the next episode of the Forward from 50 podcast. Thanks for listening, and if you like this show, please consider leaving a review wherever you download the episodes.